Christ in the City is a unique place because at the core of it, I'm trying to get my head around where God is taking this these days. From the rich history of the 1860s when it started until now, and watching it evolve into this incarnational mission along the way, from clothing banks and food banks and the tutoring and after-school things in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, to now being a coffee house and catering, and just a number of ways to think about intersecting lives together. And as we walk together, that Christ can be seen and known. This love of Jesus introducing people to Him. I'm convinced incarnational mission is specific to a location, but it's all about Him. It's the same message, and it's always evolving. The purpose, as we see it for Christ in the City, what God is doing, is that He is forming a community of His people to make, pardon the pun, but fully caffeinated disciples. Those that are fully sold out to following Him in their whole life. And so wherever people enter in that journey, that's how we help get our head around the relationships that we're in with other people. And this all starts and is connected to this geographic location of St. Louis University here in St. Louis, both the main campus and the medical campus. There's extension to other campuses and to the larger city, but it's around this area. And it's a wonderful opportunity because the university itself, being a Jesuit university, has embraced us, these Lutherans, who want to help people form in their faith life, whatever that may mean. And there's an open door there, just like Paul, to be permeable with people and just spend time in relationship. The idea that we think about as we go about each day and we look at mission and what God's doing is the three areas of peace, coffee, and more. So if you ever see the Crave logo and it says peace, coffee, and more, just so you understand, that helps us think about life. And it's also a great discussion starter because everybody's craving something at different points in their life, whatever it may be. And the peace of God is where everything starts. And His peace with us, and that peace permeates all that we do, that whatever we do, it can share that peace with other people. And coffee says for us, community, sharing life together in relationships, because there's something more, impacting this world with His love. Christ in the City, for those of you that aren't familiar with it, has really 5 arms of mission. One is the coffee house, where we're open from 6 to 6 every day, and the actual sanctuary, the former nave, is now the coffee house itself. And our worship on Saturday nights, our one worship community, on Saturday nights worship's right in the coffee house at the tables. And we don't sell drinks during that time, that's worship. But the idea is to make those connections, to allow God to spend His time at His pace in those relationships, that people can grow to know Him and follow Him. And we're willing to allow people that time. And a coffee house just speaks of that, a place that's serene, away from the world, to kind of build relationships. It also is a funding source. And quite pragmatically, that's the idea behind part of this, that it would be a way to generate income, that the mission can take place in and around that center and out from that center of the building, and those needs of overhead would be paid for. Another arm of mission that's linked to the coffee house is catering. And at first, we didn't think catering would be something we'd be interested in because of this tiny little kitchen and the manpower and all that isn't there. But God has just opened amazing doors through that. It allows us to go out into people's businesses and administration offices and the police department and other places that we never would have dreamt, to be able to share great desserts or sandwiches or appetizers, whatever it might be, and make those bridges, start those conversations, allow people, as we heard this morning, to ask the questions, and just allow people time and walk with people. And out of those catering situations, we've had a number of people come into the coffee house or have follow-up conversations, and That's where we go. As a pastor, I make very few home visits to members. I make more home visits to offices, to people in the larger community around the coffee house, because the conversations are going there. Another arm of mission is the main campus mission. And Christ in the City is for sure a campus mission. And looking at the variety of campus mission and ministries around not only this great Missouri district, but throughout the Synod, it's a unique one because we have a campus where we're located on a medical campus that is largely commuting. And then we also have a second worship community over on the main campus, the undergraduate campus at St. Louis University. And so this bridge of life between the campus and the students and the larger city and the world, this is what St. Louis University is embracing. They love this immersion experience. Well, we join right in that. And as we're serving and we're sharing and connecting and spending time together, that's where Christ can be known. And that's where we speak Him and we learn about Him. We also have a daycare need in the city, although we're praying through how that's to serve and work with God's mission at the coffee house. Like with most mission and ministry, some parts are just fantastic and you see God is just doing amazing things. And other parts you wonder, what are you doing, Lord? Shed some light on this. Well, the daycare, we're trying to figure out how this all fits. But families being in need of support and instruction, how to parent, what it means to be in relationship as a husband and wife. All of that is a great need for the city of St. Louis, as in most cities. And so we entered into that as well. And the last part is really embracing the neighborhood association. And I know, Tim, what you said about banning the word neighborhood, they have created a neighborhood association once they saw that our coffee house, the old church sanctuary, we really wanted to embrace the people in the 3, 4, 5 block area around us. And so we host now once a month a neighborhood association. And we provide, they come into our house, so we provide coffee and tea and the venue, place for them to meet. And what's grown over the last 3, 4 years of this group is now they're just shy of a 501c3 status, and they're giving money back to the city, and they're generating income, and they feel like they have ownership in the city again. They're partnering with the university, St. Louis University, and the greatest thing for me to see is that they're asking those questions. They're talking about the deeper things of life now with me, with each other. They're caring for each other. They're calling each other on the phone and saying, I missed you last night at the meeting. How are you? They're spending time on the stoops of their front houses. They didn't do that before. Where we're located for over 30 years, between the corridor of 6440, the highway, and 44, this was one of the easiest places to stop, get whatever drug you needed, and to get out of the state or back to West County or South County. And it's changing. And it's largely because of what God is doing through Christ in the City, through this neighborhood association, through the work on the campus. He's just creating those relationships. And it's evolving before our eyes. I did